Well, as most of you may know, my brother Jeff passed away on August the 9th, about 10 a.m. And I just wanted to post a memory. I may post more of these later. For those of you that were Jeff's friends on Facebook and encouraged him and prayed for him, I just want to say thanks. You know, anyways, he's at peace and I'm at peace because I know he's in the arms of Jesus. Well, there was a time when he wasn't always in the arms of Jesus. And one of those times, we were at a New Year's Eve party at a friend's house. I believe, as I recall, his name was Brian. Yeah, Brian's still a good friend of ours. And his family, since our youth group was not doing anything, decided that anybody in the youth group could come to their house. And his parents were gone for the night, so his uncle was there supervising us. Yeah, and I use the word supervising loosely because he was watching TV in the parents' bedroom. And we was just chilling, watching TV, playing cards, having our chips and dips. And my brother and a friend of ours, another friend, decided to go across the river. Now, in Dallas in 1974 or 5 or whatever it was, going across river meant crossing over from the Oak Cliff side on the south to the north side past downtown so that you could find a liquor store, because the southern half of Dallas was dry, as they call it. Well, not a liquor store in sight. You couldn't get it at the grocery store. That's just the way it was. So they disappear for, I don't know, about an hour, around 7 or 8 o'clock. And they come back and they proceed to get blasted. Now, the thing you have to understand is that in those days, Brian lived in Oak Cliff, and we lived in DeSoto. And since my brother drove, that meant there was going to be a problem going home because he wasn't going to be driving. At about 11 o'clock, I began to realize this. And I was like, oh my God, that means I'm going to have to drive. Now, that is tempered by the fact that at that particular time, I believe I only had my learner's permit. Or maybe I didn't even have a learner's permit. I had just turned 16. And I was going to take driver's ed that summer. So here I am, 16, no license, at a party with my brother where he is drinking. So 12 o'clock came and went, and then 1 o'clock, Brian's uncle comes out and says, okay, guys, time to go. So my brother looks at me, and he looks at Randy, and he's happy, and Randy's happy, and they're smiling, and he looks at me and says, I don't think I'm driving home. And I said, I don't think you are either. So we got in the car with me at the wheel. It was his 1963 snot green Chrysler New Yorker with the push button transmission. So we get in the car. At least I think it was. It might have been my parents' Bonneville. Might have been that. I don't remember for sure which car it was. Anyways, I'm sitting in the driver's seat, which pretty much like I am now, and he was on my right in the passenger side. Randy was passed out in the back. And all the way home, Jeff kept patting me on my left shoulder, and he would say this phrase. He would say, "You're such a good brother to me." And the thing you have to understand about Jeff is that is so unlike him to do that, or at least it was in those days, when we were still in our late teens. Jeff was not demonstrative in his affection for his little brother. Sometimes, mostly, he tortured me. And then he tolerated me. But, show affection? Yeah, that just didn't happen. So for the next day, we wake up and, actually, it's probably, I woke up in the morning, like about 9 or 10. He gets up around 1 p.m. It's a Saturday, actually, too. That was what was so interesting about it. So there was nothing else going on. He wakes up, finally, and I look at him and say, and I can hardly contain my laughter like I am now, "You're such a good brother to me." And he looks at me and says, "Shut up. If you tell Mom and Dad, I'll kill you." And the real Jeff came back out. Anyways, I just thought I would share one of those little humorous stories that I recall about my brother.